This is the map of the Forbidden City. We are here in this area. So later on we'll be coming out of this gate and walk along the central axis to see the most important palaces built along this meridian line. And most important buildings were built along this meridian line. And the total size of the Forbidden City is 72 hectares, equivalent to the size of 100 football fields. 9,317 rooms accommodated in this place. If you want to experience one individual room on a daily basis, it's gonna take 25 years. But today we are going to visit the most important ones. We're not going to spend 25 years in this place. But to be honest, if you want to give those places in detailed visit, it's going to take like 2 full days. And the Forbidden City is also divided into 2 parts, the outer part and the inner part. The outer part refers to those 3 major palaces, like that one, the most important palace in the Forbidden City, and where the emperor celebrated their birthday, the winter solstice, the Chinese New Year, and also the place where they ascended the throne for the new emperors. But they do not come to this area very often, only 3 or 4 times a year. They spend most of their times in the inner court in this area to stay with their families, empresses, concubines. And the construction of the Forbidden City started by this emperor, the 3rd emperor in the Ming dynasty, Emperor Zhu Di. This gentleman who moved the capital from Nanjing to Beijing in 1420. He built the Forbidden City. And those 2 emperors are the founder of the Ming dynasty. They lived in Nanjing for like 30 plus years. And this guy who moved the capital from Nanjing to Beijing, because he lived in Beijing for many years, he thought that Beijing was a perfect place, was an ideal place for defending the whole country, and it was an ideal place for being the capital city of the country. So it started from him. All those emperors in the Ming, they lived in the Forbidden City for 200 plus years until to this emperor, the 16th emperor in the Ming dynasty. This guy who ruled the country for 17 years, and he came across some, bad luck. During that period, the whole country was plagued by corruption, factional infighting, and the unique interference in politics. On top of that, the whole world temperature dropped significantly and caused the so-called little ice age. Not only here, and also in Western countries, they had the same issue, same trouble. As a result, there are many peasant uprising took place in this country. And those people, they were fighting against this dynasty, and finally they made their way to Beijing in 1644, in April 1644. And they were attacking the city of Beijing in April 1644. He was trying to summon his ministers and officials to fight those people off, but nobody responded. Nobody helped him, who got so desperate and went up to the hill located behind the Forbidden City, where he committed suicide by hanging himself at the age of only 34 years old. That was on April 25th, 1644, which marked as the end of the Ming dynasty. And then those peasant uprising army, they broke into the Forbidden City and occupied this place for 28 days. Later on, those Manchurian people, they come from northeastern part of the country. They come to Beijing and defeated those peasant uprising army, and they took over the Forbidden City and occupied the whole country and started a new dynasty, which is called the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty. The dynasty was lasted for 267 years, for 10 generations, until today, the last emperor in the Qing dynasty. And out of the 26 pictures, there's only 1 photograph. Yeah, the rest of them are all the traditional paintings. Because he was the most recent emperor. He declared himself to be the emperor at the age of only 3 years old. And his dynasty was over. The dynasty collapsed in 1911, and he still lived here until 1924. And then he was kicked out of the Forbidden City, and the whole complex opened to the public in 1925. So next year is going to be the 100th anniversary of the foundation of the Palace Museum. In Chinese, we still call this place the Palace Museum. In English, it's called the Forbidden City. Okay, so boys, I have a question for you. The Forbidden City was established in 1420. So tell me the age of the Forbidden City. How old is the Forbidden City?
602.
So 4 years old. Is that right? 2024? Very close. Very close. Good job.